Hello, my name's Sue Lewis and I'm taking you through stage 3 of our Pathway Planner process. So this session is about accessing the reporting zone, viewing the Pathway Planner results, allocating guidance according to need, and how you record follow-up after guidance. So this is the third session of the 6 different aspects of the Pathway Planner. So to get access to the reporting zone, you will need to complete a data sharing agreement, which is signed off by somebody in senior leadership team. And then we issue a password to you, and you can issue passwords to other people within your school. And if you go to the advisor zone, there's a tile there where you can request access to the reporting zone. So what we're going to be doing today is just using not your school but the Planner Academy or Planner College, because these are training areas and anything you do in these areas won't affect any live data. So you've probably been given access to these particular either the Planner Academy or the Planner College through the training that you did. So what we're going to be doing is going into the Pathway Planner in the reporting zone, results and bookings, and there you'll be able to see the pathways the students are interested in and also how ready they are for the pathway. And then you can actually start to analyse the results and decide how you're going to allocate guidance. Just to show you, Year 11 results would appear here. These students haven't done in Year 11. Post 16 results here. You can see when it was last updated, so that would probably be in the pre-guidance session, but some students might have got back in and edited their answers, which you can see here. There's certain actions as well you can take against each individual, which we'll go through in a minute. You can also see when you set up a booking. So if it's pink, it means you've done it, and if it's green, it means that you've booked it for a future date. So this is where we can analyse results, and as you can see at the bottom, one thing we suggest is that when you're deciding on the levels of guidance to offer, you think of definite as being top trumps, if you like. Definite takes priority over considering. So we can look now at the different lines, sample 3000, and we can see that they're considering 2 different pathways. The university level pathway, they're green, so they obviously know quite a bit about it, but they're obviously a bit undecided. So what we'll probably do here, as they're not definite about any particular pathway, is give them a 30-minute amber session so we can find out more. Now the next one down is an interesting one. They're considering multiple pathways. Not only that, they've got a blue A indicator against their name, and that means they've got additional needs. So that could be shown in the system. You do have to add it in, but once that's showing, it means that that student is going to get the maximum guidance. So in this case, a red session, irrespective of what they've said in terms of the Pathway Planner quiz. Sample 3003, definite about apprenticeships, so clearly quite a few gaps perhaps in their knowledge because they're shown as a red. So because apprenticeships is quite a tricky pathway as well, we want to make sure they get the support they need, so we're going to give them the maximum guidance. Sample 3004, considering a few pathways, but they are definite about employment, so that's quite an interesting one. They seem to know quite a lot about it as well, but they're also definite about a gap year. So although they seem to have some ideas, that the fact that they've got 2 things they're definite about would indicate maybe they need a bit of extra support. So we'll probably give them a 30. This one at the bottom, sample 3026, they're definite about university level study and they're green for that, and they're not definite about anything else, so they would get the 20-minute check. So that's the green guidance. So just a summary, so green is the 20-minute check of their plan. If they get to you and you realise they're not as sorted as maybe the Pathway Planner indicated, then you can put them back in for drop-in guidance. Amber is the 30 minutes. Red is for any students who's shown as definite about an apprenticeship pathway. In our model, we felt that that was important because that pathway is quite complicated for students. Then any student with additional needs, any who choose no pathway at all, but then any students who's red for the pathway they're definite about. And just to reinforce, that definite is top trumps and takes priority over considering. So you might want to look at other data as well. It's not just about the Pathway Planner. You might already know where they're predicted to get good grades or borderline grades. So you might want to take other things into account as well. So as I mentioned, there's various things you could do here, actions against each student. You can view their answers, view a timeline to show where they were when they did the Pathway Planner and where they were later if they did it again. You could book guidance from here. You could do a progression follow-up, which is essentially keeping notes after guidance. And you could show the tutor follow-up and advisor comments here. So I'm just going to show you some of those things. So in terms of booking guidance, just to say, when you're trying this out, you're going to be looking at the reports and actions in the pathway plan. So I just want to remind you that when you get into reports and actions, so you go to the reporting zone, click on pathway planner, click on reports and actions, and you were given a particular student in the training session. So you can find that student again just by clicking on the group that that particular student was in. And to find everything to do with the pathway planner, you can click on group reports and actions. The top one, Pathway Planner Results and Actions, is really the main dashboard. So if you want to see all your bookings later, you can click on Manage Bookings, or if you want to see all your progression later, you can click on Progression. But where you want to start is the Pathway Planner Results and Actions. So I'll just show you what you can do when you're there. So in terms of booking guidance, as I showed you, you can take an action against a particular student. So you could put in what you want to call that guidance session, what is known in your school as, the date, the time, and the type of session it is. So you can record with this long, medium, or check-in. You can also record if they come to you for a drop-in or self-referral or tutor referral or e-guidance. So the timings we use in our pilot were these, but you might have to flex that in your context. You can view all bookings, so once you've got lots in there, you might want to go to Manage Bookings, and then you can see them all. And you can sort them in different ways. You can sort them alphabetically by student, or by date, or by type. This is also where you can record did not attend, and that will show on the student's timeline, just like any guidance session would, so they can begin to see that these things are important and recorded. You could download all this data, so you could play with it, whatever, in a spreadsheet format. So just to show you some of the other actions you can take here, progression follow-up is the follow-up after guidance, so kind of where they are at the end of the guidance session. And then the tutor follow-up will happen about 3 or 4 weeks later. So the progression follow-up, this is just for the guidance advisor. The students don't see this, but this is your summary notes after the guidance. You could say they think about university level study, they're pretty definite about that. These are the subjects they're thinking of doing, and this is where they're going to get the grades. You could say lightly, firm, or borderline for the grades. And you can add on another pathway if they've got a plan B, which is a different pathway. Tutors can also record all this, and everything to do with progression follow-up can be seen in a report from this particular space on that top line, group reports and actions. So this shows that report. So essentially there's a line against each student, which are your post-guidance notes, and the tutor follow-up can be shown here as well. And the tutors very simply go into the student, they take an action, which is to record their tutor follow-up. So here they could put in done it, and where they think that student needs another session. From the tutor report, or from the progression follow-up report, you can access all the other reports associated with that student. So from here you can see any Pathway Planner reports, but you can also go into the main reporting section of Career Pilot. So this has been there forever. It's not just about Pathway Planner schools, it's about everything the student has done on Career Pilot. So you can view their full report, and this is where you could write your advisor report as well. And sorry, I'm just going to go back. And if you want to get back to the Pathway Planner, then just click on Pathway Planner, go into results or booking or progression. So you can go back and forth from this particular spot. So this is a task you probably did during the training session, but if you want to have another little play of it, you're going to be a staff member on this occasion, not a student. You're going to see the reports for your groups and make a booking. So you're going to go and sign in now as yourself. With the email you normally use to get into the reporting zone, or the one that you were sent for the training session. You're going to go into the Planner Academy or the Planner College. So if you get an option to choose between 2 schools, that means you've got access to your own and the one we're using for training. Put in the Planner Academy so you could play here without feeling worried about affecting in live data. Then for the Planner Academy, which should show up at the top, spelled wrong, I've just noticed. Then you can actually click on results and bookings. And then when you get in there, what you're going to do is look at the answers for your student, view the timeline for your students, just click on that and see what it looks like. Book guidance, just book a guidance session, just see. Add a progression option. Imagine you've done that guidance, you're just recording some notes after it. You can even put the tutor follow-up in just to try it out. You could download a report and have a little play with one of our reports. I would suggest at the moment don't add advisor comments because we're going to be showing you how to do that in a later session. So use the password that you were given. Try to find the student that you were using earlier on. You were the student in the previous session. So find that student that you were and look at them from the other side of the system, from the reporting zone. So you can actually find out about their results and make bookings. Okay, so just a summary of the process. You're going to book them guidance, and then at the end of, then the guidance is going to take place. You can record your reports and your actions on Career Pilot. Do get the students to redo the pathway planner, because then you see the whole journey of what they've done, how they've edited, how they've changed. They might be in the red and amber, but as they have some guidance, you get them to do it again. They might be moving to green and amber as they move through. Don't forget, you can add your planned progression after guidance notes, that one line of each against each student. And then the tutors are going to follow up 3 or 4 weeks after guidance using the 3 questions, which we'll mention in a later training session, and the Career Pilot reports. Another thing to think about is what sort of alternative guidance you're going to be offering. In our pilot, we offered e-guidance, drop-in at least 1 lunchtime a week, and also self-referral. So just to know that if a student does request e-guidance through their area of the system or self-refers, then that's going to come to whoever is allocated as the guidance advisor for that particular group. So if the student's in 9SL and I'm the guidance advisor, I'm the one that's going to receive those requests through my email. Tutor referral, you can just see that in the reports as I showed you earlier. So you do need to think about what you're going to offer as alternative guidance methods, and don't forget to tell the students about what you have on offer. There is a poster you can use. There's a template of that in the advisor zone under the Pathway Planner tile, so you could adapt that poster and sort of promote it around years 11, 12, 13. So I'm just concluding now with section 3, which is about accessing the reporting zone, viewing results, allocating guidance, recording follow-up. So the next video will be about using Career Pilot to record guidance and how you actually do the tutor follow-up, including the training for tutors and what they'll be covering. Thank you for listening.